Hello and welcome back to another video from the Double Pivot Pod. This week we have got Game Week 5 FPL Decoder. Colours influence our emotions, our behaviours, our perceptions, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad for FPL. But that green fixture that we always see on the ticker, is that good or is that actual bad? Opposite me today is, I've got quite an intro planned for this guy. So he doesn't need an intro, but I will give him one. 2024-25 season, he finished 4,881. I've got it up here. Look at he is often mad and frustrated, mainly because he is a Man United fan. He's from Kalgoorlie in Australia, and he often leaves the big decisions in the hands of the FPL gods in card format, and that's usually what chooses his captain, maybe even his players. There you go. There they are. He's also on FPL podcast, and I think he adds the much-needed banter on there, and he stops the monotone voices that sometimes gets a little bit too much, and he is a little bit the voice of reason, sometimes the voice of unreason. It's FPL D Unit. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you? It's been an interesting week. I'm excited for this weekend, though. I think that this is the week where the green arrow finally comes.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, so it's the first time you joined us. That's what we do. Basically, we just talk through the fixtures and we re-assimilate. We'll go through it. We'll see, each team, what they'll score, what they concede. And that colour often changes from like a light green to a dark green or even a pink. And like I was saying to you, we got right the Spurs to beat City. So it does have maximum value. So that's what we'll do. We will jump straight into it. Just a few highs to everyone in the chat. Com, he's here all the time. Geddy, he's here all the time. How are you doing, guys, in the chat? As we go through, we're going to do some Q&As as well. So if you've got any Q&As, just park them up as you go along, and we'll park them, and then we'll get them at the end. We'll also talk Game Week 4 teams, points that we got. Game Week 5, we were talking before. Captaincy is very, very difficult this week. And then that'll be roughly about it. So what we'll do is we'll jump straight into it. Right. Dino, are you ready, mate? Are you ready?
I'm ready, buddy.
I'm very ready. How's the week been for you anyway, mate? Well, I just cue this up. How's everything been in general for the week, mate?
Pretty good. I mean, like, I looked at my team at the start of the week. I thought, I need a wild card. I need to do it. And then I was like, going, hold on. I looked at the fixtures this week and thought, this is not the week to wild card. And I think I just want to give Forest and Villa. I've sent them a rocket. I've sent them a personal rocket. It's arrived in the UK in the mail, and it's landed at each of these players' doorsteps. And they all told me that they're going to pull their fingers out of their ass and deliver me some points this week. And not 1 point. They're talking multiple returns across the board. So I believe them. So they've been put on notice. They know that they're out if they don't perform this week.
Yeah, see, it's a tough week this one, and again we'll come on to the teams, but we'll jump straight into it, right? And we'll probably jump into one of the, I would think on the forefront, one of the worst teams or one of the worst fixtures, but actually I think it'll be quite entertaining. We've got Wolves and Leeds, and again, if you're new to this segment that we do, like I'm saying, all we do is we go through the fixtures. And we will talk and say how much they score, how much they concede. If you can see down here, they've got stars, kind of like a championship manager, and they're rated in stars from 0 to 5. And quite often this changes. So what we'll do is we'll park up a picture before and after, and then you can see the difference. And quite often that helps with me anyway, mate, of thinking my selections or my predictions and stuff. It just gives us a little bit of thinking. But Wolves Leeds, mate, how do you see this game going?
This game will have at max 1 goal in it.
Do you think so?
It's going to be a boring game.
Well, just as well we started with it.
Do you think neither of these teams can score?
Yeah, they can't. But I think it'll be like, see, first thing I was like, right, there's not going to be many goals. But actually, I can see like 2 or 3 goals in this game. I actually can. Wolves, what does coming to Wolves? You can see my screen still, can you?
Yep.
Yep. And right, Wolves attack. So what do we think? What do you think Wolves scoring?
1 goal. I've got Wolves winning the game 1-0.
Oh, there you go. Right. So we put let's go at 1.2, right? Defense, how many against? Leeds, they can't score, can they? But you need to be winning games like this, or at least drawing, to have a chance of staying up, right?
Yeah. I don't think Leeds score. I honestly don't think Leeds score.
No, so we'll go down. We'll go down a bit then. So what about like a 1.3, 1.3, something like that?
Yeah.
Well, you can see straight away, right? So we've got 1.2 goals and 1.3 against, and you can see straight before it was like a light green, and that was like a dark green. The defense has gone up, and the attack's actually gone up as well. Probably because you've given them one goal, do you know? I actually think it'll be a bit higher, and Leeds were all right last game week. They actually had quite a few shots. I think that's
Didn't score that.
But yeah, they didn't score. Yeah, it's Leeds, so they didn't score. I mean, when you sign, if you're signing Calvert, like what did the fans think, and what does the board think? Like that Calvert-Lewin guy, I like him.
They're paying him to sit on the treatment table.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He'll either sit in the treatment table or he won't score. Get him in. This is the guy we need in to keep us up. Do you know what I mean? They do have some decent players. They got Nonto.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's not bad. I think physically wise, though, physicality, he is a little bit small. He is still good, but I think when he comes up against the quality players, he finds it more difficult. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
But yeah, so you can see there already kind of Wolves are a little bit more higher rated than we thought. I've actually not thought about this in terms of like who's going to win this, but I don't know. I'm kind of siding with.
All I will say is remember last week, Fulham always concede a goal, and the week they played Leeds, they didn't concede. So that's all you need to know about whether Leeds are scoring.
That's it. So what we'll do is we'll swap that. So 1.2 Wolves to score and 1.3 against. So 1.3 and then 1.2. And then again, that will just change the colour a little bit. See, look at that. Defence rating, they've got Wolves to score 2.3. I mean, I think that's a bit much, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
If Stan Larson was fit, I'd say Wolves would score more than one goal.
Yeah.
But we don't know if he's fit yet. We need to hear the press conference first.
I don't think he is. I think he's already out. And did you see the managers just signed a new contract? Did you see that?
You know I mean, he's just getting a better payoff, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just signed like another 4-year contract. Like, you've lost all your first 4 games. Just like the Calvert-Lewin for Leeds, this is the time. Get him on a new contract because this is the time. Do you know what I mean? I'm all for supporting your manager, but Jesus, do you know what I mean? It's a bit extreme. Cool, yeah. So I mean, see straight away, it was like a light green for Wolves. Now it's gone slightly darker. And for Leeds, Wolves is actually a bit of a red fixture, namely again because they just can't score. Talking to people who can't score or score and concede is Forest. Lost midweek. We were chatting about them, mate. 2-0 up, taking off the striker, like you were saying, because I don't know, just because it's Ange, and getting beat 3-2 on penalties, mate. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I looked at that lineup and thought, thank God Milinkovic wasn't playing. Sells wasn't playing either. So hopefully that's a sign that they'll come out fired up, rested, and hopefully deliver the clean sheet that I desperately need.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Like, it's difficult to take our players out of it, isn't it? Because you're like, and that's sometimes what gets us, because you're like, I think Wolves might, if you had an attacker, and it's like, I've got an attacker, so I want him to still. So it's separating that, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's quite difficult.
I've watched Burnley a lot this season, though. So I watched him in the opening weekend against Tottenham. I watched him last weekend against Liverpool. I watched him against Man United. So I've literally watched all the Burnley games. And I thought that when they're at home, they're better than when they're away. But I don't think they create very many opportunities. And the kind of opportunities that they create, I kind of expect Sells to save those opportunities. So for that reason, I think potentially they'll keep a clean sheet. I actually said that yesterday. I can't remember what video I put it in. I was like, imagine if this is the week where Milinkovic scores, Collins scores, Senesi scores, and Sells save a penalty, and I get clean sheets across the board, and I get 70 points from my defense.
Well, we'll come on to teams, but I think a lot of people will be playing more defenders this week. But remember, Burnley are at home, aren't they? Sure they are.
Yes, they are.
Am I going crazy? Yeah. I mean, Burnley are solid at home. Last year, they were unbeaten in 30 games. I know it's the Championship, I get it, but 30 games, that's some going to be unbeaten. And they have put a bit of a fight up this season. And Forest,
they've been poor.
Mate, they've been very, very poor ever since he took over. All right, okay, you can't give him the first game because he was in for one training session. You can't give him that. You give him benefit of doubt, but the game after that, it's not looking so good. And I generally, like I was saying to you, I've seen him at Celtic. I think he gets sacked again before the end of the season. I really do, because you've put Ange, who's like, he says it how it is. Do you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, it's who we are, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I'm just going to play 100%. Oh, yeah, but Ange, do you want to just calm down? Because like 60 of your players have been hamstrings. Nah, it's who we are, mate. It's who we are. Just keep going. Ange, mate, you're 6-0 up. Nah, just keep going. Do you know what I mean? You're like, Ange, 10.
We're going for 10.
Yeah. I need to get to 10. You've just lost 7-6. Yeah, but it's who we are, mate. But I get it, mate. But I think he does. One, I don't know if he has the team at Forest to play that way that he wants to play. Do you know what I mean? I don't really think structuring the players that are in there kind of suit the way he does. And we were saying that if you play one way in the Prem, you'll just be found out and you'll just be pushed against. But Forest, anyway, let's jump into this. So at the moment, they've got 1.2 scored and 1.1 against. What do we think of that score-wise? So let's just have a look.
I think it's pretty accurate.
Light green. Yeah, but 1.2. I think the goals against would be a little bit higher, to be honest. I'd say like about 1 point.
I don't think Burnley's scoring more than one goal.
Nah,
I think it's pretty accurate.
We'll keep it 1.1 then. We'll keep that one on there. We were covering that one. Actually, that was the first one that was quite covered. But you can see there again, that's only the second game. And we're already like, well, I'm not sure. Do you know what I mean? In game weeks, you're like, I'm pretty confident they're going to win by 2 or they're going to win by 1. We're 2 games into it and we're not sure what's even going to happen.
It's tough.
It is, mate. It is. Just a few bits from the guys in here. You'll love this as well. We were talking about Anderson. Yeah, what's his name? We loved Anderson on the podcast. He got 10 points. I think Geddy's got him. So well done there, mate. What a baller! I can't believe not owning him. I know, mate. I know. Who doesn't own Anderson? Andrew said, I think Wolves are. Yeah, I think Wolves are better than the results show. They were good against us last week. Yeah, they weren't too bad, and maybe the manager getting a new contract that'll help things. And the other day, like,
look at Andy's 50 face.
Yeah, if you look at their team, it is a bit of a championshipy team. If you know what I mean, like you look through the players in that team, and you're like, oh, you could see this team in the championship. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Andrew said, ironic, we thought Yamal being out would help, then his replacement scored twice. Yeah, it's not going well for Newcastle. And actually, we will come on to them because I'm probably going to be a little bit averse to what Andrew thinks is what is going to happen at the weekend. But what we'll do is we'll come on to Spurs. We'll come on to Spurs Brighton, mate. Talk to me about Spurs Brighton, because again, this is a difficult one. Spurs are away, Brighton are home. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Spurs are away.
Brighton, Brighton are a different beast at home. They're actually fairly good. They always score. They've got a decent record. They beat City the other week.
They did.
Spurs, they're running high. They got another clean sheet in the Champions League. So they're definitely not Spursy anymore. How do you see this going, mate? It's a difficult one.
This was a difficult one. When I was doing my own score predictions for later, I originally had Brighton 1-0, and then I was like going, Brighton always concede like Fulham. So then I was like, so that means I'm going 1-0. And I was like going, nah, 2-1 Brighton. So I'm going with 2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton?
I just think that, I think that the minutes in Europe, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens this weekend. But I feel like Brighton have had a free midweek. They should be fresher. I think, and they're at home. I think that potentially they get done. Spurs get done here, potentially. 2-1, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that's in a week where we don't have. We've got data obviously for the 4 game weeks, but when games are so close, we have to take into consideration Champ League. Especially if someone's battered or they got beat, whatever. It takes a lot out of them. But we'll have a little look in here. So at the moment they've got 3-3. They've got Brighton an orange one, which I would say is about accurate. They've got Spurs to score 1.6 and concede 1.2. I mean, I just didn't
see that Spurs team scoring twice. Like their attacking hasn't actually been that good, other than when they've played against 10 men and when they played against Burnley.
Yeah, I watched back the fixtures or the the highlights yesterday, and yeah, I think the Spurs 3-0 against West Ham flattered them a little bit because obviously they had Van de Ven who scored. He was in the penalty box. They do like to overload the penalty box though, but yeah, I think it maybe just slightly flattered them. But yeah, I think 1.6, 1.2 is that fairly about right? Do you think?
Yeah, I think they probably concede a little bit more than 1.2, but they could easily score 1.6. I mean, this game could easily be 1-1, 2-1, 1-2,
It could.
2-1. I think that's probably going to be what it's going to be.
So we've got Spurs to score 1.6 and concede 1.4. So we've got Brighton 1.4, concede 0.6. So again, I mean, there's not much movement on that, but I was changing it to like a slightly darker. So it does get you thinking. And Spurs, they were 3 defense, now they're 2.5 defense, but the defense is good. We were talking about defenders that are maybe very, very crucial this week, and I could see like a little 1-0 Spurs, like Romero header or something.
Oh, easy. Easy. I could definitely see that result as well. Definitely.
Yeah. Right, okay. What we'll do is we'll leave City Arsenal, big finale. We'll go into another rubbish game. Is Villa Sunderland. Right, and again, I've been going over my head, and I'm like, which way is this going to go? Like Villa have been playing poor, Sunderland actually pretty strong at home.
At home, yeah.
Villa they scored 1 goal and that was in the cup.
They haven't scored in the league at all. No league goals.
Mate, I watched them and they were shocking. I've got Rodgers. I might play him this week, and I forgot he was on the pitch. I was like, "Is Rodgers playing?" I had to look to see if he's on the pitch, mate, and that's not ideal for people that we own. Do you know what I mean? How do you see going this? At the moment, they've got Sunderland, the light green fixture, but do you think that's how it is?
I think, based on what I've seen, I've watched a few Villa games as well, and I've actually had more enjoyment watching someone mow the grass at the local oval. They've been so poor, like legit so poor. I think though, if there's a week where they're going to return, it has to be this week. So I actually think that Sunderland will score at home, but I think Villa will find. I think once they find 1 goal in the league, the gates will hopefully open, and hopefully this is the week. And Ollie Watkins gets a brace and an assist, and all of a sudden I've been rewarded.
A brace and an assist. I know I know you're in Australia, and you can it's all right to drink because it's that time, but. A brace and an assist. What is going on? Jesus. Do you own Watkins by any chance, do you?
I do.
I mean, I own Rodgers, and we'll come on to teams, but there's so many difficult decisions this week that we just have to. Again, I think FPL is like a jigsaw, isn't it? You never have all the pieces, but you can only make the decision with the amount of pieces that you've got, and whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? Some things go well for us, some things don't. Geddy saying Xavi Simons looked sharp again midweek, definitely on his radar for Wildcard 7. Yeah, he looked good. Again, it's difficult. There's no player that's jumping out. Do you know what I mean? It is really a difficult one. But so at the moment we've got Villa. Let's have a look. So Villa 1.5 score. I think that's got to come down, right? Especially against Sunderland away. Sunderland.
I think they score more. I've got them scoring 3 goals. I don't know why. I just think that the shackles are going to fall off at some point. There's going to be a game where it just happens. It clicks, and all of a sudden they go bang, bang, bang. I don't know if it's this week, but it's coming.
I tell you what, we do. I was thinking about like a 1.2, 1.3. What are you thinking? Are you thinking like a full-on 3?
Go 2.
All right, we'll go in the middle. Yeah, we'll go in the middle. We'll go 2. I mean, surely they're going to score at least 1 today. Today, the weekend.
If they don't,
they have to score.
Zach Emery.
But Sunderland have looked good. And like you're saying there, like, I looked at their squad the other day and they had like Bogard in defence. Bogard's a good player, but they just, I don't know, they've just kind of lost their way a bit. Do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of rotation in these. I think he's just trying too much stuff. So Villa to score 2 and goals against 1.2. I'd say that's probably a little bit higher, to be honest. Villa, there's not really been keeping much. I'd say about 1.4.
Yeah, I'd agree. Their XGC numbers have not been flash. I'd be happy with giving that 1.5 easy, yeah.
And Sunderland, I've got Sunderland to stay up this season, and I think they've got 7 points from the first 4 games, which that's not relegation, amounts. Right, so we've got them scoring 2 and conceding 1.5. So we've got Sunderland then scoring 1.5 and then conceding 2, and we'll see how that edges out. but it'll definitely change colour. Yeah, so there you go. Before it was a green, and now it's kind of like an orange. So it's a warning to you to stay away, stay away. I mean, we've given them 5 stars for attack. I mean, we've gone rogue there, mate. We have gone rogue. Like, I might play Rodgers because, you know, he'd probably get like a wee assist. And if someone's going to make something
happen, Watkins, have to play him.
Yeah, against Sunderland, you have to play him. But I think if someone's going to make something happen, it's going to be Watkins. And
do you know, if this was Villa last year, I would be captaining Watkins this week, without a doubt, because I'll be backing him in to get at least a goal, maybe more, against a team that got promoted. But Villa this year just doesn't look anything like the team that we saw last year at all.
No, they don't. Rob, how you doing, mate? He's put in Will Harvey Elliott start for Villa. I think he does, like you said, I think he does. And actually, he might be a good shout for FPL. Kieran's always raving him, and actually at Liverpool he was good. He always came up with goals, didn't he? He was kind of like a Murphy in the Newcastle side. When there's injuries, he comes in, but they always do really well. Do you know what I mean? And he always performs well. So he could be a good shout. I mean, Buendia, I thought was maybe a proper outside at the start of the season because he did have a bit of form, but yeah, they've lost away a bit. And I think at that in between of like midfield and especially in a little bit of transition, they've lost away. But I mean, it could be worth a show. But yeah, so anyway, that's changed to like an orange. Again, Sunderland, I mean, they're going to have an issue when they go to the African Cup of Nations because about 70% of the team. Yeah, 70% of the team. So they're going to have to like spend some more money. They'll have 2 different teams, mate, when they come back from the African Nations. But yeah, it's got 5-star attack. I would say take that with a pinch of salt and a 2.5 defense. I owned Console last season, mate, and he always conceded. He always conceded 1 goal, and he doesn't really get much attacking threat. I think if anyone's got him, I'd get him out straight away. I think he's fairly wasted. Right, what should we move on to now? So we're gonna keep Arsenal City to the end. Let's go West Ham Palace. Now, for me, it's a difficult game week, but I think this is the only banker that we can bank on. And you know, West Ham are at home. The pressure's growing. Potter, he's cast his spells. I've probably reused those jokes way too much, but I don't think he can cast any more spells, mate. And I genuinely think if there's an early goal, it's bad for him, mate. I'm talking probably another 3-4 now. I think how many have they conceded? They've conceded 11 in 3 home games. Is that right?
Yeah. So when they concede massively.
And if you look at again, I was looking at the weekend. I was watching the highlights again, and they just can't deal with crosses. I think Chelsea in the first week they scored 2 from corners. Yeah. At the weekend, they conceded 2 from crosses again. Yeah. They just, I don't know what they do. They just, no, and what I never got actually, this is the thing. Who decided, in fact, I know how this goes. Who thought Paqueta was a good idea? Because he's playing striker. He's playing for West Ham. Do you know what I mean? What's your thoughts on Paqueta? I couldn't believe people with Paqueta in the team, like, what are you doing?
I thought it was really weird that he got played up front. Why wasn't Callum Wilson not starting up front? That's what I didn't understand. Paqueta is much better as a number 10. Starting up front in a false 9 is not his game at all.
Yeah, I think he is Dominic Calvert-Lewin Mark II, Callum Wilson. He's always on the bench. Do you know what I mean? He's always on the injury bench. I think a while ago last season, he ripped his pectoral muscle. And so he was off for like 2 or 3 months. He was doing too much bench, mate, is what he was doing. He was getting too hench. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be good. I mean, what's in terms, I've not done my fixtures yet, but I'd probably go like a solid 3-0. Maybe they might score, but honestly, I think it's like a 3-0. What do you think?
I actually have West Ham winning the game.
What?
Yeah, so
excuse me?
I think potentially, well, I think Palace without Sarr are a much weaker team offensively. So I feel like potentially they already look tired as well. And Glasner came out and said that Mateta needs a rest. And they've obviously got Europe next week. And I think they will want to do really well in Europe. So I feel like they will prioritize Europe rather than the league because I think they've got enough quality to stay up in the league and not be too worried about it.
Really?
But so I actually think that West Ham might win this game. I've got them winning it about 2-0.
2-0, right? Have you been? I know it's Friday over there. Have you started? Have you started early?
Well, have a look at the Palace's games this season. So they obviously scored twice in the Community Shield. They struggled to qualify from their European playoff. They then didn't score against Chelsea, even though realistically they should have with that Eze goal, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
They then obviously had the goals against Aston Villa, but outside of that, they couldn't beat Sunderland at home last week, 0-0. So, and there were signs, and even in the League Cup, they struggled to win that game, had to go to penalties. So, again, I'm not convinced that Palace are there. I think that potentially they need Sarr to come back. If Sarr was playing, I'd have the result very differently. But I think potentially West Ham might do a sneaky here.
That's outrageous. I think, Joe, again, I was watching the highlights, and that Pino, his record wasn't very good last year, but he was everywhere, mate. He was everywhere. And West Ham are having an issue with kind of that 10 position, stopping them or stopping the passes. And I think he could flourish at the weekend. He really could. And I tell you what, you need to have a look at Mateta's record. It's pretty good against West Ham, whether it be penalties or just goals in general. West Ham do concede a lot to number 9. So I'm kind of fighting between, do I want Mateta or do I want Pino? And again, then the fixtures get a bit poor. So after that, do you know what I mean? It's a bit a nightmare.
Tough.
I mean, I tell you here, they've
got this week.
Well, I mean, look where they are. They got West Ham, Liverpool, Everton, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Brentford. There's no tough. There's no easy game.
Yeah, no freebies.
Unrelenting. So I don't know if I want. You know, I think if it will be a 1 week punt, and I don't think it'll be Mateta. I think I'll probably go for Pino because Mateta's a little bit like Watkins. He's a bit of a form player, isn't he? He's got to be in the groove for you to choose him. If not, he doesn't do much running about. But let's have a look in here. So West Ham, we've got 1.3 scoring. I think that's nice. And 1.4 against. I think that's very fortuitous. I mean, you think they'll score a few, right? We'll go in the middle. Let's go like 1.4, 1.5. And defense, though, I mean, conceding 11 in 3 at home.
Yeah, I think if they were playing a Palace with Sarr and Mateta, I'd be backing Palace in for the win pretty comfortably.
Yeah, but what about they play the wing backs? I was talking about Captain and Munoz.
Munoz could score.
I looked at him on the weekend. He was so high. He was like a winger. I was like, what's he doing up there? I know he plays high anyway, but it's one that I might go for this week. So we'll go. Let's go round about 2 then. So 1.4 score and 2 to concede. So you can see straight away that was like a light green, and now it's kind of gone down. They've gone from 3 stars to 2, and again from 3 to 2 on here. So
pretty accurate, I reckon.
I think it is, mate. I think it is. So let's go. This 1.4 and 2. So we're going to Palace. We'll go 2 and then 1.4. But again, I just don't see West Ham winning. Do you think Potter gets out of it? If he loses this game, he's gone.
He's in trouble. He's in big trouble. Let's be honest.
And it's funny how I remember when West Ham. There's a few people who are fans that I know. I remember like, oh yeah, but we don't want the Davy Moyes brand of football. We don't want it. We want more exciting football. Well, be careful what you wish for, because look at the absolute clip that West Ham are in now. Do you know what I mean? They had who was the manager before that they brought in when Moyes finished his contract?
Oh, I know who it is. Oh,
you know what I mean? Pellegrini.
Lopetegui.
No, was it? Yes, Lopetegui. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. And that didn't go well, did it? That was a nightmare. Nah. And then they got Potter, which was a bit strange at the time. Anyway, and I know they're trying to back him. They don't really sack many managers, but yeah, his time could be up here. I think Onions has gone 0-0 on here. Rob's gone 1-0 Palace. I honestly, I'll probably go 2-0 Palace. I'm not done my predictions yet, but I'll go 2-0 Palace. We're done Sunderland. Right, Bournemouth, hey. So Newcastle, fresh off the defeat from Barca. Great game. Marcus Rashford scoring 2 fantastic goals, by the way. It's funny how we can't do that United, or no player can do that United. What's your thoughts on that, do you know? That probably won't make you happy.
I'm not surprised. Rashford thrives in the Champions League in games like this, so it was inevitable it was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that he's gone over there and he's he's doing well. It's good to see.
Yeah, I wish him well. I think I still think that I don't know what's going on with Man United. We just seem to like. Yeah, there's
We'll
so many
come to
players that
them.
have left and do so well elsewhere. I'm like, what's going on here?
It is
me in
weird
charge
how
of the
so
club.
many. Yeah, well, you might be. Yeah, you might be if it doesn't go well at the weekend, because Amon might have a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, so I mean, at the moment, let's have a little look here. So Bournemouth, I think a lot of people are thinking that Bournemouth are going to do well. They don't have Champions League, so they're fresh.
Yep.
They've had a
I agree.
fantastic start to the season. They only got beat by Liverpool, you know what I mean? And if it wasn't for like Ekitike and maybe Salah finishing them off, you know, they would have got a draw away from home. So at the moment, they've got Bournemouth to score 1.4 and concede 1.5. I think the attack's about right. I don't know about the defence. I'd put the defence down a little bit. You know, Newcastle struggled to score goals.
I agree. I don't think they're scoring any more than one. I wouldn't have it anywhere above one. It should be on one. That's it.
We'll go to one, yeah. So 1.4, 1.4, and then 1. You can see that there already. That's going to like a red fixture. Bournemouth defence. I've got Senesi. I'm playing him. Yeah, I've got Petrovic as well, and I'm toying with a double defence idea because I think this could, like you're saying, the defenders are going to be big this game week, and it could be Senesi with defensive contributions, a clean sheet, and maybe even a goal. Who knows? But I think he'll do. I think he will do pretty well. Newcastle find it hard. They didn't start with Walter Maddy the other day, did they? I mean, Andrew was in the chat. What was Eddie Howe's thoughts on that?
Howe's got a weird record as well. He's got a bad record against Bournemouth.
Good point. In fact, good point. His old club. Yeah. I think. I mean, why? I mean, you've just bought a striker. I know he's a little bit fitness-wise, but you start him on the bench against Barca at home. I don't know. Do you know what I think will happen this weekend? I think he will use the squad. I think they probably will get beat. And I think he'll use the squad, the overall squad, as a bit of an excuse because he was kind of doing that. Do you remember the last week? I brought Elanga in. He started Elanga and Barnes on the bench. I think he was trying to prove a point of like, I don't have any other wingers or good enough to come into the team. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. I couldn't agree more. I think they'll lose here, and I think it'll be 2-0. I don't think Newcastle are going to score. And yeah, it is a very short turnaround. They obviously played this morning or last night, Thursday night, and they play Sunday night or Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, so that is, and I think that would have taken a lot out of them. You know, at 2-0, they kind of lost a little bit for a period in the second half, but when they got that,
they've got to go all the way down south.
That's it. All the way down Andy Martin's hideout. But yeah, no, you're quite right, Colm. And I think most people are probably thinking Bournemouth win this weekend. Again, I'm not about predictions, but I think it's fairly tight. Although actually thinking that there's a few players out, isn't there? There is Shaw's got a concussion, if I'm not wrong, and Trippier's done his hamstring.
Wow, that was inevitable.
Yeah.
We're pulled back in.
he done well for 4 game weeks. He lasted double the time I thought. I think there will be a little bit defensive. I think they are quite. If you're looking through the squad, I know they've got loads of money, the owners, but with the fair play rules, it's a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, so we've done that one. But yeah, that's like a red fixture. If you look at that in Newcastle, and it's bright red for Newcastle. So. Yeah, if you've got Newcastle defenders or even midfielders, I'd probably stay away. Walter Maddy's not really an option just now either, is he? Really, you've got Isaac coming in and other people like that, so he just isn't an option. Right. Anyway, let's freshen it up. Let's talk about a team that really are dog shit. Man United, Chelsea. Man United, Chelsea. The unit. I'll let you take this because you are the Man United fan. I'll wait to say my piece. They've given 2 stars for attack. I think that's very generous. And 3 for defense. I think Harry Maguire is about 1.5 stars in there. So what do you think is going to happen at the United Chelsea? United are at home, right? Yeah, they are.
No, we're at home. Ironically, Chelsea's record since Fergie left at Old Trafford is poor. They've never beaten us.
It is.
So I'm taking that into consideration. But the pressure on Amrin's building. Amrin's pressure is building significantly. So I've been realistic with this game. I think both teams are conceding, and I've gone a 2-2 draw.
A little Desmond, a little Tutu, is it?
Yeah, I
Wow,
just got a feeling like
2-2.
both teams will concede, and I don't think either of them are going to win. So I've gone with 2-2.
So let's have a look
Cameron to
then.
get a stay of
So
execution until he goes to Brentford and loses.
yeah, I mean, he's got. I tell you what, he does. He's got, he's got Chelsea, Brentford, Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton, Forest. It's all right, maybe Forest, but apart from that, it's not hard. So at the moment, they've got Man United to score 1.4 and concede 1.2. I think that's. I think they're a bit skewed. You think they score? Do you know what? I actually think they will score. Actually, this weekend, I think Chelsea aren't that good defensively. They've had a few good results, but if you actually look at them, they seem to overcommit as well. Like Shalaba. Shalaba just gets. He just
He
goes
just
rogue,
goes.
mate.
Just
Yeah,
goes
he just
forward.
goes. He's like that. And then the defender's
Later,
like,
boys.
Shalaba, yeah, where you going? He's like, yeah, I'll come back, mate. It's like, yeah, I know, but they scored. Yeah, and I think in transition, they've got a little bit of an issue between defence and midfield. Midfield to attack, they're fantastic. Like the flow is amazing. I mean, the midfield is world class. But yeah, the defence is a little bit. And if you actually look through the defence, it's a little bit. Shalaba, who else have got in there? You got Achimpong if you need him. Tosin as well. He didn't make it out of the club. Yeah. And then you got Gusto. Gusto midweek in the Champ League made a mistake. I don't think he's a very good footballer. I'm just going to say it. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's far better than me and he's playing for a Premiership team, but I don't think he's good enough to play for Chelsea. I really don't. And that's what I think they took him off at halftime and swapped him with James. But 1.4. So what do you think we score? I think they'll score, but what? I think that's about right then. We'll keep that on 1.4. But defence, I think goals against is roughly about a 1.82, something like that. What do you think?
So I don't think Chelsea. I think Chelsea, you've got to factor in that they've been in the Champions League, they've flown to Germany, they're flying back, they're going to be a bit tired. They played on Wednesday night.
Yeah,
I just think it's going to be 2-2. I think Man United will score because Chelsea are tired, and that's why I've gone with that.
I think so. Well, what we'll do is we'll update that. So that's 1.4 for United and 2 against. So where's Chelsea? We'll get them to 2, and then we'll go 1.4. I think. Do you know what? I actually called Man City to beat United 4-0, and actually Haaland. I don't know how he missed that other like open goal. It maybe should have been, but
I know
it could have been. The reason I didn't. Oh, it could have been. The reason I didn't think they were going to score is because they had Mason Mount out, who actually has been one of their leading lights, and Cunha as well. I mean, Mbeumo does look good the other day, but he's trying to do it on his own. Bruno's sitting too deep. He's a little bit like Ange, isn't he, Amarin? He's kind of playing one system. You can't just play one system throughout a whole entire match because you'll get out strategized, if you will.
His biggest mistake is playing Bruno in the midfield. He is not a midfielder. He needs to be put back where he belongs in the number 10 position because all he does is wander around the field. He's got no discipline. He gives the ball away way too much. But the problem is that they didn't bother signing a midfielder. So you've got Casemiro, who's got no legs, and he plays in the Premier League. They've got Ugarte, who the only good thing that Ugarte can do is tackle, because if anyone goes anywhere remotely near him, he coughs the ball up stupidly. The only decent midfielder we've got is Cobby, and Amrin doesn't seem to like playing him for some weird reason. So I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but like Mainu should be playing 90 minutes every single week because there is no other midfielder that we own that's any good. So why he's not playing that's the one thing I just do not get. I don't understand it. That's United fans so frustrating as well. Because City walked through us in that second half on transition. They literally were walking through that Man United midfield because it was non-existent.
And you've always got an issue picking up like the 10s as well, like the late runners into the box. Like again, look at Phil Foden, everyone standing about, and it's not looking good. And as well, let's talk about the keeper. Both your keepers are not good enough. Well, one's gone on loan, right? One's gone on loan, and the other guy is buying their. He's not as bad as Onana, but he's pretty. In fact, actually, they're both absolute dog shit.
They're both crap. They're both shit.
You buy that Lamins. I know he came from Royal Antwerp. It's a bit of a step up, but just play him. Just play. Do you know what I mean? Just play him. I get like you don't want to integrate him in the team straight away, but he's a keeper. Do you know what I mean? Like
maybe he's a lemon.
Yeah, I mean, you see, Donnarumma came in. By the way, did you see that save he made from Mbeumo? Did you see that save from Mbeumo? By the way,
would have been some goal, but it was some save.
oh, it was. I was watching my little boy, and we both looked at each other and were like, "What a save that was!"
like,
and he came straight in. You know what I mean? Like he brought him straight in. So I don't know. He's good. He's got to play Lamans at the weekend, and I think it's just. I mean, the saving grace sometimes is Harry Maguire again, which is that tells you all you need to. Yeah, that's. I mean, he's done well there. He is a bit of a legend there, but yeah, put him up front, mate. He might score. But again, if Mason Mount and Cunha are out again, I don't think they'll score that many. Palmer's starting to play well. He scored again. Did he come off?
How are you scoring though at the end of the game again?
Yeah, I think. I mean, people are saying to what's his name, Maresca, that he played him, but at the end of the day, it's up to Palmer. Like if he thought he was sore, he'd say to him, Maresca doesn't. I think he'll be all right. And actually, if he is all right, I might bring him in. But United or DS. Right. I mean, Chelsea. Look straight away. Look, 5 stars. All right, it's a tough game, and they've not got the best record, but yes. Right. What have we got left? Right. We got 11. Right. In fact, let's get Fulham Everton. Let's talk. Get that out of the way. Get Fulham Everton. Fulham Brentford out of the way. That's going to be a boring game, right?
Yeah, 1-0 Brentford.
I kind of. Do you know what? We were talking about this before, and I agree with you.
Fulham always concede. 10 points is off the table this week, boys.
Yeah, they do. And all right, they're stronger at home, but they don't have much going forward. I was looking back at their stuff, and they allow a lot of shots in the box, actually, funnily enough. And this could be, like we were saying, a set piece. This could be a Collins. You've got a Collins. It could be a Pinnock. It could be a Hickey. Hickey scored at the weekend. Scottish defender, no bias. But they've got so many big lads up there, And again, this was one. At the start, people are like, Brentford are definitely going down. They're definitely going down. They've got a set-piece coach, who's the manager. I'm like, just temper it a bit, because if he wasn't good enough, I don't think he would get stepped up that quick. And Brentford on the field, they've got a lot of leaders on there. Do you know what I mean? So, like, in terms of if it's not going well, they can change it. They can adapt a little bit. He's done fine, mate. He's won in the cup. You know what I mean? He's kept a few clean sheets. He's proven everyone wrong. He's brought back the long throws as well.
Oh, I love it. We love to see it. We love the long throws.
It was good. Excuse me. So we've got Fulham. Right, what do you think we score? They've got 1.3 and 1.3.
I think that's pretty accurate. I think both teams are very similar.
You think? So we'll keep that on 1.3 then. So what have we got here? So, I mean, it's light green and light green. Again, it could be anything. It's one of those games. It could be anything.
Yeah. I think it's pretty accurate, that one.
Yeah. Right, okay. So we're on to the 2 important ones. So we'll go Liverpool, Everton now. The big derby, mate. At the moment, they've got a bright or kind of a dark green fixture for Liverpool to play Everton.
I think they've got that wrong. But with just the way that Everton are playing, like they keep on saying that Everton at home is a green fixture on the FPL website as well. I was like, it's not. I was like, have they not watched Everton's games this season? They're actually playing really well.
And this is why I've done that, because like I said at the start, like colours change your perceptions. If you see a light green and say you might not have a bit of time, you're kind of rushing against time, or you finish work. If you see a light green fixture, you think, yeah, definitely attack. Where a lot of the case that isn't the case. Do you know what I mean? And this is why we do this, to change and adapt it. But let's see how many goals they've got. So they've got 1.8 to score. I'd say that's probably about right, especially at home, and 0.8 against.
I think Everton score. I'd say it's about 1.2, 1.3 at least.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. So we'll go 1.3. Attack their Anfield. I mean, they scored another late winner the other day. I don't know how Slot does it. Have you seen people talking about slot time? I quite like it.
I hate it. I hate to say it.
I like it, mate. But again, they've done well. And unfortunately for us, a lot of the time it's been Salah. That's a different conversation. It's not sustainable. Anyone who's got him, I think you keep him for this week, because I actually think he does all right this week. I don't think he gets loads and loads, but you can't not. I don't think you can move this week, especially with Haaland having Arsenal. Funnily, I think actually Haaland does score, and I think you think he scores as well. But I would say after this week, take your points and run, because he's just been absolutely poor. What is it? 0.03 XG or non-penalty XG.
It's been bad.
And I know
been
people, yeah, and I know people are like, yeah, but that's why you get penalty takers. I get it, but you need to like watch the games because he does nothing. The ball doesn't go through him. Quite often, actually, I've seen. I mean, Wirtz hasn't had a good start, but quite often I've seen Wirtz run through the middle and it needs a ball across from Salah, and he's just cut back inside, or he's just chose a different lane to pass to. It's not quite clicking in there, but I think with Isaac coming in, I'm keeping Wirtz because I think that partnership might be pretty good. Actually, I think that might click it a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Could be. We'll have to wait and see. I still think Isaac's not playing like more than one game a week.
Who Isaac? Yeah. I think
his body's just not capable.
Yeah. Until it gets back to fitness. Right. So 1.8, I think that's fine. And then 1.3. So then we're going to Everton. It's going 1.3 and conceding 1.8. Again, it's a derby. Moyes has done well. I think last season they drew, didn't they? They got a they got a last minute equaliser. And see, straight away that's gone. The defence has gone down a little bit, and Everton have got a dark green from a light green. And Liverpool have been conceding quite a lot, haven't they? They conceded 2 midweek again in Champions League. All right, I get it's Champions League, but those goals are creeping in. Whether they have Robertson at the back, who I think his legs have gone a wee bit, and I think he'll probably move on next year. Kerkez, who hasn't really covered himself in glory. Frimpong's been in and out. And let's talk about the biggest, Harry Maguire Mark II donkey at the back, Konate. It's so glaringly obvious he's not good enough to play next to Van Dijk, is he? Maybe the smaller clubs, but the bigger clubs, he's just out his depth, isn't he? He's just not as mobile. It's a bit embarrassing to see sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why they wanted to sign Gahey, because obviously Konate's not really up to it. And I think Konate's going to leave at the end of the season anyway. Is the reason why he hasn't signed a new contract. He wants to, I don't know why Madrid want him, but apparently they're into him. Probably because he's free and they love getting free players.
Yeah, they're just stacking on the players. Right, so I mean, again, if you're thinking about, Liverpool, they're at home, they've got an easy fixture. It's not. And Everton, we know how good defensively they are. Again, I've not even thought about what I'm going to put for it, mate. Have you got a score protection for this yet?
I got 1-1.
1-1. Again, I can see that. But again, every game I think we've covered so far, it could just go one way or the other.
They're very even games this week. Very even.
And talking even games, here's probably the most even of all is Man City Arsenal. You could talk about your neighbours first, mate. What do you think? While you're looking up at the table at them, quite a way up. What's your thoughts on the City Arsenal game?
I think Man City score, but I also think they concede. Their defense, I think Rodri's still getting next to 100% fitness. So when he gets there, I think Man City will defend a lot better. But until he gets there, which he's definitely not at the moment, they're not going to be at 100%, and their defense is going to be open to conceding. So I've got this game finishing about 2-2. Like last season, the games were actually quite entertaining. They weren't the boring games we were expecting. So I'm going to go again with another 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be quite tight, but I think there will be goals.
Another 2-2 little Desmond, eh? Let's have a look what it's got into here. Let's have a little look what it's got. So, I mean, I think you're bang on with it. I think City have been a little bit... They kept a clean sheet during the Champions League. Again, Napoli down to 10 men, but still, they kept a clean sheet. Unfortunately, De Bruyne came off. It would have been good to see him play a full game. But, yeah, I think they score, and I think they do concede. I think Arsenal haven't conceded a goal yet, right? Is that right in the Prem?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, have they? Have they?
I'm sure they have. Hold on. Who have they played?
Help us in the chat. Yeah, I'm trying to think who they played. I'll tell you now. They played United.
Yes. No, we didn't even score against them. They won 1-0.
Oh no, it was 1-0. Leeds didn't score.
5-0.
Liverpool. That was 1-0. That was 1-0 Liverpool. So they've conceded to Liverpool.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say they've definitely conceded. There we go.
They've conceded one. I think they're due a concede. I think Haaland scored again midweek. If you don't own Haaland, people are so worried. He looks naughty. He's back to his best. He's big. He's strong. He could have had a hat-trick against United the other day. I think he does score. And Saliba, it's good and important. If Saliba's out, there's more chance that Haaland does score. Yep. Because, I mean, he's a good... who's the guy that stood in for Saliba?
Mascara.
Mosquera, yeah, because he's got the same. There's a Wolves player with the same the same name, so it's definitely
Yes,
him.
there is. Yeah.
I think, yeah, again, it's a difficult one to call. Let's have a little look what they've got in here. But Arsenal at home, that brings into it. They've got Man City to score 1.8 and concede 0.9 away from home.
Wow.
I mean, scoring wise, I'd maybe go with that. Would you go with that? Roughly, maybe down a bit.
I think, yeah,
Against
I think it's
Arsenal?
probably. I feel like it should be about 1.5 for both.
Yeah. And yeah, in fact, yeah, let's go. Yeah, there you go. Let's go 1.5 and 1.5. And I think that's about fair. Arsenal, very, very good defense. City a little bit leaky at the back. And let's have a look how that changes it. Yeah, straight away. Look, that was, I think it was 5-star attack. Now it's 2.5, and the same with defense.
Yeah,
In terms of players, I don't think there's anyone else. I mean, I've got Reinders and I've got Haaland. I don't know whether I'm going to play Reinders this weekend because I've also got Eze, and I don't want to play them both. Do you know what I mean? I can't see all three of them picking something up. So again, it's a hard decision this week in every single game and every match. If you play predictions and stuff like that, it is a difficult one. So 1.5, we'll change this 1.5, and that'll probably change the color of the fixture again. And then we'll get into the teams. 1.5, yeah. Again, it's kind of a red, and there's probably a lot of draws. You could probably, if you like a little flutter, mate, you could get away with a lot of draws.
I reckon there'll be a lot of draws this weekend, 100%. Imagine if there's none and they all just go like one goal to each team. Last week, there was a record. Well, I don't know if it was a record low, but I think there was only 20 goals across all the games last week. It's insane how little scoring there was. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think so. There's a few in here. Geddy's gone 1-0 the Arsenal. Rob's gone 1-0 the Arsenal. Yeah, 1-1. Joe was saying I wouldn't want to call it. I would not want to call it, but unfortunately, we do have to call it sometimes. I don't know. Someone's kind of saying to me, like, City, and I don't know why they don't deserve my push for that, but I just kind of think, Colm's gone 2-1 Arsenal. Everyone's gone 1-1. 2-1. Again, it's a difficult one, mate.
I just look at Arsenal's attack, and I know they haven't got Saka still. Well, we believe they don't have Saka still, and potentially they have Madwakey and Eze. But I think that when you look at Man City's attack compared to Arsenal's, I just think Man City's attack is better. Now, I get that Arsenal's defense is probably better, but I just can't see them doing it. To be honest, I feel like Man City, if anyone's going to win it, it's going to be Man City, but I've got it finishing in a draw.
Onions has gone 2-2 Haaland and a Gayuk brace start of a 5.
I like it. I can get on board with
that. Yeah. I hope so. It sounds good. Right, happy with that. So what we do is we just have another little look across. So this is put up for, the next 5 fixtures from game week 5 to game week 10. And it's put them in order of points there. But you can see that it's changed and it updates as we went along, And a lot of the smaller clubs are up there. It's maybe a time to think. I was kind of thinking of, I was even thinking of getting rid of Van Dijk for a wee while, actually. Which could be insane. It could be mental, but with the fixture swings, if you think someone's not going to concede, clean sheets are king, and they'll always be king. You have defensive points and stuff, but there's a lot of very, very important decisions in there. Even if you're making one free transfer or even rolling, it's not one of those short game weeks where you're like, I don't really need to look too much. My team's pretty set. I'll just let it slide. I'll let it go. This is definitely not the game week for that, mate. But yeah, you see there, I'll just cut that off. Villa, I don't know why we still got 5 stars for them. It's outrageous, but we have. And yeah, it just, again, that's why we do it. It does have value in it. It does help us get the predictions where people actually go the other way. So what we do is we take a screenshot, we then put that in and see if we actually, like the Spurs City game that we predicted, see if that pays off. Right, talking of paying off, let's talk about how much our teams paid off at the weekend, the unit.
Or how much they suck.
Or how much they suck. I think, are you first? You are first, right? Talk through. So people on the podcast, you talk through your teammate and tell how many points you've got.
It's been, well, as you can see, it's this big steaming pile of turd from last week, pretty much. The double Forest defense, wishful thinking, hope they do something. I mean, they combined yet again for 2 points from 2 players. Juve decided he was going to join them to make it 3 from 3. Thankfully, Senesi and Collins decided that they were going to at least get involved in the DC points. So they came out with 3 apiece, which this is why my week was a red arrow, because everyone else literally had a player that at least kept the clean sheet. And I had 5 players combined for literally what everyone else was scoring with 1. So that's where the red arrow came from. Then the midfield wasn't much better. Gakpo did pretty much nothing in that game. Bruno Fernandes, ditto. He was pretty anonymous. He didn't even get anywhere near the 12 needed for the DC points in that one. Sarr and Cunha sitting on the bench, warming up for probably when I've already sold them. So good on him. And then Dorgu sat last on the bench of 1. The Bravka and Sells, I did weigh up actually starting to Bravka, and that actually cost me 2 points because he would have done better. And he got the same points I thought he would. Sells didn't, so that was disappointing. Watkins was like Villa, has not yet realised that we're actually into the season, so hopefully the rocket has landed his doorstep and he blows up this week. And then we had Even Ilson, who won the penalty, and I thought, oh, here we go, he's going to take it. But then no, Semenyo took it instead, which was a little annoying. And then we had Reindeers, who realistically should have finished, and I actually would have got a green arrow. If he'd finished that shot, I would have got an extra 6 points for Haaland, and Reindeers would have gone from 3 to 11, and I would have been on 64 points and been on a green arrow, which I don't even know how that's possible when the only person that returned was my captain. And thank God he showed up in that final 45 minutes.
Yeah, actually, because you must have been thinking that, like, oh my God, I've got
this is the generational stinker. I've never scored this low in my life. And then he just thought, nope, we're not having it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's condensed the red arrow a bit, but yeah, Rangers will come to my team. I've got Haaland and Rangers as well. He should have finished that. It's an all right save, but it's frustrating when you own a player. They don't seem to be as clinical sometimes, you know. Have you wildcarded yet?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, but I mean, you don't want a wildcard this week, right? Because obviously it's too many.
That's why I didn't, because I was like, the team actually looks pretty good. Well, it looks good, but that doesn't mean nothing at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you're saying. I think anyone who's wildcard, I wouldn't wildcard this week, because there'll be some players that you'd be like, nah, they're getting nothing, and they'll probably get something, and it'll be close to. Again, it's hard to choose even a captain. That tells you everything we need to know. So, yeah, I would, unless like you've got injuries coming out your backside, I think people just need to probably just let this one run, or at least I don't know, a free transfer, and then next week you'll be in a really, really good position with a fixture change and everything like that. But yeah, there's a few players you need to get, like the Forest. Obviously, they've completely changed. The Juve. Fernandes, the bench. Too many United players. I didn't know you're allowed triple. I didn't know anybody had triple Man United this year. I thought that was against the rules. I thought you could only have 2.
That was for the Burnley game, and it just went horribly.
Yeah, I mean, they still scored 3 goals, and they got away with it. Bruno got away with it as well, but yeah. Coming to my team, slightly better.
That is good.
For once, 72 all out. So Vicario double up with Pedro Porro, so it was 8 and 6, which is good. Munoz, Virgil van Dijk, and Senesi, so a pretty decent back line. Then midfield, though, usually it's my midfield to do the heavy lifting, but it was the defense this year, this week. Wirtz, Gakpo, again. Wirtz, do you know what? I see some good stuff from him, but it's the physicality of the league. He's not really getting that much protection, whereas in the Champ League, you'll get, the fouls are a little bit less, and you'll get them. But there is glimpses in there. But I would expect them to do more in 4 games, wouldn't you? I would expect them to come up with a bit of magic. I think it is in there. You don't buy a player for 130 million or 125, whatever it was, if you're not sure on him. And I think he will come good. I kind of think this weekend, again, it's because I own him. I'm going to play him. I'm going to play him. I think maybe he's due a chance, and I think if Isaac plays, it will change the dynamic of the team. I think he could get some more joy out of that. Eze with an assist, which is good. I brought him in last game week. I was actually driving up to watch a Dunfermline game with my little boy, and that was the early kickoff, so we're listening on the way up. And it pinged up, it was Eze, and we're like, yes, and we both had Eze. It was class. We actually won that game as well. We won 5-0. Smashed it. So that was good. Reinders, it was unfortunate because he was put through a great ball great put through by Haaland, and then he just fluffed it up, which is frustrating.
You would have been
because
so close to 90 points if that had gone that way.
I know it's frustrating because you know those game weeks where you don't own them. That's what happens. But when it seems other people own them, then he'll score it. And I was watching live. I was like, oh, this is it. This is bam done. And he missed the target, which was pretty poor. And then up top, Haaland, it was never in doubt. He should have had a hat trick. He should have had a hat trick, really. Richarlison, now this is one that I feel quite aggrieved about. I'd like to hear your opinion. I predicted 3-0 Spurs. It did finish 3-0 Spurs. But Richarlison didn't start. Now, I think that was due to being away in Brazil and stuff, but
it was.
Matthias Tell, by the way, what a player. Terrible.
Why'd they take him? Why'd they buy him? They didn't need to buy him. They could have sent him back.
I do not know. Honestly, I think I looked at the stat. I think he had one block shot. Shocking. Anyway, I was a bit frustrated about that because if Richarlison starts, it's hard to say, but I think he gets a return. And yeah, that was one I was like, you could get a few in there. But I think he gets to stay execution. We'll have a look at the teams moving forward. On the bench is Petrovic, Lacroix, Rogers, and Mark Gui. Lacroix on there with a 6 as well. I just didn't really want to play 5 at the back on that week. I like still playing 4 in the middle. Yeah, I know the game's changed a bit, but we're coming.
It won't continue. It won't continue. The goals will come, and the defenders will be out of vogue before long.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Well, that's our game week 4. Let's look at game week 5. We'll start with me. We'll start a bit of continuity here. So, I've got a bit of a benching headache. You could probably see what do you have a wee idea what you're going to do? But I'll say to everyone on the podcast. So I've got Vicario and Pedro Porro at the back for a double up. I've got Munoz and Lacroix for another double up, and I've got Virgil van Dijk v Everton. Then midfield, I've got Wirtz, Gakpo, Eze, and Rogers. Then I've got Haaland with the captaincy just now. I think it'll change because I think it'll go a bit different. Richarlison v Brighton. I think he stays because Brighton aren't really playing that well. I could see them scoring a few goals in there. And again, if Matthias Tell isn't doing anything, who is? I think it'll be Richarlison. Maybe with Xavi Simons. Maybe if he starts at 10, he'll do something. On the bench, though, I've got Petrovic, Senesi, Reinders, and Mark Gui. Right, so we'll take Gui out of the equation. I think we can take Reinders out of the equation because it's either Eze or Reinder. I don't want to play them both. Do you know what I mean?
I'd play Eze. I think what you should do is you should actually bench. I'm intrigued to know what the chat think as well. I reckon you should bench the Pigeon and you should play 5 at the back, put Senesi on, and I would also swap the goalkeepers. I feel like Bournemouth have a higher chance of a clean sheet than Spurs this week. So that's the only reason why.
No, that's good. Do you know what? That's good. So I sent, I think I took a screenshot of this yesterday and put it in. But since then, I've actually changed it and I've put in Petrovic and Senesi. I've got a 5 in the back and I've taken Gakpo out. I don't know if I want to double against. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Isaac, and I've got obviously 3. So I've got one who's blocked. So one has to come out. And I think it's maybe because I'm willing Wirtz to do it. I don't know, because Gakpo down the left or down Everton's right. I think he could get a bit of joy with O'Brien out there, but I think I don't think I'm getting rid of Wirtz. I think I'm keeping it because he'll play. You're not going to pay 120 mil for a 10. For anyone who's not going to play. And I think if Isaac starts, do you think Isaac starts?
No.
Do you not?
No. He doesn't back it up. It's a short turnaround for Isaac. I'd be very shocked if he started.
How many minutes did he play?
Definitely comes in.
Did he play full? He didn't play full game, did he? You can put in the chat.
No, he didn't play at all. No, he didn't play at all.
Yeah, he didn't play. So I don't know. I just get a vibe he might be ready. And if he is, I think that adds a dynamic. And I think it gives Wirtz that little bit of room that he needs. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit side or right. And I don't know. I've just got a feeling he scores this weekend. Again, it's probably because we've got the players. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what's going to happen. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I think 5 at the back, Petrovic and Senesi double up. And captaincy, we discussed it.
Yeah, I don't mind the Haaland, but I know that you're thinking about going to Munoz. I don't mind that either.
I think I'm going to go Munoz. I think West Ham have been that bad. I think Munoz is playing so high. I want to bring that Pino in, but it's just for one game week. So there's no one else to captain. Who else are you going to captain? Do you know what I mean? It's a really difficult. Yeah, Rogers, I know we discussed before it came on. I know they've not been playing well. If I don't play against Sunderland, who am I going to play him against? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So they have to play that. But that's my team. Let's come on to your team. again, if you just let everybody know who you've got kind of stacked up for the
Yeah.
podcast.
So we're going forward and back for the second week in a row. So we've got Sells in goal with Milenkovic double up Forest defense. Collins for his 17-pointer and to destroy Anderson owners live on Saturday night. Keep your eyes out for that one. Juve against Crystal Palace. Senesi against Newcastle. And then we've got a midfield three at the moment of Reindeers, Gakpo and Bruno. But if Cunha is past fit, I'll actually swap Cunha to Reindeers and play Reindeers on the bench. That is my plan. Otherwise, there is a potential that I'll move Cunha and I'll either bring in Phil Foden randomly ahead of game week 6, or I'll bring in Semenyo and I'll play whoever I bring in there instead. And then up front, I've got Evan Nilsson, Haaland and Watkins. At the moment, Haaland is captain, but and Gakpo is vice. But I'm very open to just doing a wild one and putting it on a defender this week, or just doing what I would have done originally this season. And I originally was going to captain Ollie Watkins this week, which is why I started with him at the start of the year. But I mean, he's got to break the duck at some point. So maybe this is the week where he decides to show up. A rocket has been sent, and I believe he's ready for an explosion. So I don't know. Maybe it's a Hail Mary play. Just captain him, and if he stuffs it, wild card. See you later, mate.
Yeah, it's not a bad shot. He is glaring. It's sticking out. I think it's because it's a green under there. But I know Sunderland have been decent, but they're not going to be like that for the whole of the season. Do you know what I mean? And that's the vibe I get when I watch them. Like, they are well drilled, but I think there'll be games where they kind of lose their way and they get dragged out of position. And it could be Villa. Could be Villa with Watkins 2 goals and assists. Do you thought? I mean, hopefully, if Rodgers is giving him assists, I'm all for it. But yeah, I think. Are you happy with your team for this week? Or I don't think anyone's happy with the team for this week, are they?
I'm happy enough. I'm happy enough for it. Yeah. I'll just let it roll. Obviously, Haaland's going up in price. So I've got 100 million team value now, so that's nice.
Yes, back to equal. If you didn't go Haaland, who would you go? I think I already know who we spoke about it, but who would you go?
I'm honestly toying up. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm tempted by like just a wild defender captaincy shout this week. Like, I feel like one of the three between Milenkovic, Collins, and Senesi could get a 17-pointer this week. And like, imagine if I get it right and I land on the captain that gets 17 points. It doesn't matter what Salah and Haaland do, because I'm going to sit there looking very pretty.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
it could go horribly wrong and they could get 0 points.
Yeah, that's the risk. I always want to. Do you know what? I always like to captain a midfield most if I can, because I get those extra points. But again, who would? I mean, you could bring Semenyo in. I was thinking you could bring him in and captain him because Newcastle will be tired.
I was even thinking about captaining Bruno for that reason as well, and hoping that Amarin just stops being an idiot and plays him in the 10 role instead, and then all of a sudden Bruno could actually be a decent option.
I mean, he might. He's got nothing else to lose. Who's going to play where Bruno plays though? Menu.
Yeah, you would think so. Maino and Ugarte. I mean, it makes so much sense. I don't know why he doesn't do it, but
it's frustrating that you don't have Sarr fit, isn't it? He would have been really, really good, and he's only 4%. Well, actually, he's injured. Isn't he? He's injured, but
he's under that now. He's 3.6. I mean, Cunha's under 5. So, like, if one of these guys is fit and plays, all of a sudden, I could be on for a massive haul if they don't get injured again.
Clip this. I could be on for a massive haul and be like, again, like last week, like, please, captain, do something. Haaland, do something. It's all about ceiling, though, isn't it? I look for those players that have got the most ceiling, and I don't see many ceilings this week. There will be some that will be like, oh, yeah, why didn't we think of him? So, like, a captain on Senesi at home to Newcastle Champ League, that's maybe a shout. It's really, really difficult. But, I mean, you stacked up pretty well, like you're saying. It's only early days. I mean, everyone, again, we've been looking, and you're in that league as well, and there's a lot of content creators in there, and a lot of them are like, what, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million? So the points are so close. 8 million, well, almost 9 million. The points are so close that you'll need one good game week. And I think as we roll forward, you know, especially after game week 5, where the fixtures change, that's when you need to start making decisions. But it starts this weekend, like you were saying, and it starts with captaincy. This weekend sees what kind of manager you are. If you are Solio manager like Nick and what's his name of podcast? Yeah,
Gary.
if you want to copy them, it's fine. If you want to copy an article, just say it. Do you know what I mean? Just say I'm going to copy an article. But if you want a little bit different, then go with like you're saying, you always go with your gut. Have you done any cards for your captaincy?
No, I've got the late mail. I'll record that in about 4 hours time, and then we'll see what captaincy I go with.
We'll keep them peeled. Unfortunately, it'd be good if Munoz popped up, and I'd be like, yeah. But yeah. Well, listen. Anyway, we'll round it off there because that's just over an hour. Everybody, thank you very much for joining us in the chat. This is the most we've had in the chat actually since we started it. Since we started the season. So
very
thanks
good.
to Jojo, Rob, Geddy, Calm. Yeah, there was loads today. So again, thanks for joining. Andrew at the start as well. Abishnek. I'm terrible at pronouncing, by the way. We need to clip stuff of these. And the biggest thanks to yourself, Dino, mate. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, just at FPL _unit. I feel like I recognize most people in the chat. So hello, everyone. Good to see you all.
And if not, catch FPL podcast on Wednesdays normally, isn't it?
Yeah, and to lock in tomorrow night, we'll be following. So tomorrow I've got my own deadline stream, and then I've got the live watch along for the 3 p.m. games. We're hoping this week to have more than 5 goals, because last week there was 5 games and only 5 goals. It was very disappointing, but I'm doing a mammoth stream tomorrow. I'm doing the live watch along of the 3 p.m. games, and I'm going to stay on to do Man United Chelsea. So that could be just a hate at some point.
Do you know what? Actually, as I'm watching a little boy, I'll put the stream on and I'll be like, oh, I wonder what it's like. And then especially you'll be turned into like like Gold Bridge. I love it. Like when United get smacked up, they get absolutely smashed. I'll always go and watch a Gold Bridge clips. Do you know what I mean? I love it. I think everybody does that.
When the goalkeeper, when the Flappy Bird's been doing his magic in that Arsenal game, I was about as bad as Goldbridge. I was like, why have we got him in goal? Like, sign a goalkeeper.
So yeah, there you go. So if you're free the weekend, make sure you drop into D Unit streams. We'll drop in there, even if it's just to give him a little bit of abuse. Just drop in there because he can take it. He's got good banter.
Yeah, bring the abuse. I love the
abuse. Yeah, but for now, listen. Thanks very much for joining me for Game Week 5 Decoder. We'll be back next week for Game Week 6. I'm not sure who's going to come yet, but we'll decide as we get closer to it. But for the most part, everyone have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully, you have green arrows. Well, under my score, but hopefully it has everyone green arrows. And yeah, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See you later, guys.